All right. Okay, everyone. This is Natasha Telger with Illinois WorkNet, and I want to keep this webinar very, very short today, if possible, because I have an ask, a request of you. We are in the process of reviewing and redoing Employment 101. I'm sure you're all very familiar with Employment 101. It was originally designed for the 2014 Summer Youth Employment Program that was sponsored by both DHS as well as Commerce. And so the look and feel was really the colors that we used for that particular program. The reason why we developed Employment 101 the way we did was we had challenges in the past with previous summer youth employment programs where we would have different types of learning activities as well as with content. And we had the individuals, jumping back and forth between different areas in WorkNet. And so Employment 101 was designed to put everything together in one space, so they weren't really required to go anywhere outside of Employment 101. So we have some plans to make updates, as far as the way it functions and that sort of thing. And I think that you will like. But our very first step right now is to review content. And so what we're going to do, we're going to use 3 phases. The first one is to review the content in Illinois WorkNet. Then we're going to get your feedback on the graphic and the format of Employment 101, the new proposed mock-ups. And then we will incorporate the changes based on the content as well as the graphics, and put those out there for you and collect your feedback again on those updates so that we can refine and make enhancements. So what I would ask that you would do is, I'm not sure if the people that are on this call right now are the ones that are really hands-on when it comes to Employment 101, or if you need to refer this to someone else, that is fine. But I would like for you to just take a brief moment to go through Employment 101 and think about how your youth use the tools and the information that's in the tools. So we have a variety of articles, resources. We can pull in other resources and apps that are in WorkNet. Again, articles, web page, another resource, another article, and videos. And so as you go through each of these areas, think about what you talk about whenever you're going through and talking about career planning, exploring careers, or when you're exploring training, or getting qualified. What your plans for getting qualified for that particular job? What are some of the things that you really like about Employment 101 when it comes to that particular content? And I'm talking content only. What are the things that you really like? Because we don't want to change the things that you really like. What are the things that are missing? What are some of the things that your youth will ask you about, or they're confused about? Anything that needs to be added or updated? What are some of the things, as far as content is concerned, that you would think would need to be removed from each of these sections? So we're only talking about content. And so what we want to do is to, first of all, make sure that we keep everything that you really like. 2, we want to look at your suggestions for any new resources or topics. And then 3, look at any of the areas that you have suggestions for updates or changes when it is referring to content. And so what we'll do is we'll take a look at those, update. We can put together a plan for updating articles. so that it includes that content as well as opportunities for videos that would be used within Employment 101 and also within Global Illinois WorkNet. So if you could, please go through each of these areas, prepare a career plan, prepare a job search plan, achieve your goals, and review this content. A lot of the things that are in here were requirements for that Summer Youth Employment Program in 2014. So there are certain reasons why certain things are in here. Otherwise, it's probably just general, general information, general knowledge. But again, it's your opportunity to provide input on what that content needs to be as far as new resources that we can use as far as writing articles, creating videos that can be used in Illinois WorkNet or incorporating videos, or whatever else you think is a fabulous tool that needs to be incorporated. So that's that. Let me show you the survey that we have. Again, it's talking about content. Please review. We want to know who your name is, your organization or company that you represent, email and phone number. And that's really just so that if we have any questions and need clarification, we know who to contact for that specific area. So we tell you the first area section is prepare a career plan. Each one of these goes through each section. So within prepare a career plan, there's 3 sections. The first one is explore careers. These are the 4 basic steps. Please tell us an overall usefulness rating for all the resources and content that's available. Are there any new topics or tools that need to be added to the section? You could say no or yes. Are there any resources that need to be updated or removed from this section? No or yes. And you just continue on through the process. So it's going to do this for all 3 sections and then for each of the subsections as we go through. So for the sake of time, I'm just going to do simple one-clickers until we get to the end.
But we want you guys to give us as much input as you feel like you want to give us.
Yes, please do. This is your opportunity. So let me just click. And so what I'm asking is a pretty short turnaround time. If you can't get it done by the 29th, then okay. But what I'd really like to do is to be able to compile this information and then put together the results for it before your next webinar, so we can have a discussion about this, so we can get it moving forward. But just because, I mean, if you can't do it by the 29th, but you're really working and trying to get us good quality content, then it's not like we're just going to shut it off and we're not accepting anything after that. We definitely will, but I'd like to have as much as possible before our next webinar.
And the next webinar is September 3rd at 1:30.
Yes. So then at the very end, we have a place where you can share any other comments. Now this is, this is kind of like, your standard text box. It's not like fabulous to write stuff in. So if you have something that's more than, just something that you can see in this general little box, then go ahead. I would just like type it up in Word or Notepad and copy and paste it. I just think it's easier to do. So that's all I really have today, because what I really wanted to do is allow you the rest of this webinar time to do the survey. So I guess we can unmute everybody. Does anybody have any questions?
Where do we find the survey at?
Yeah, we're gonna send, I'm putting it right now in the chat. And then we'll send out an email.
Oh, it's Survey Monkey. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I think I have it published. Sure do. Okay. Any other questions?
Are you guys looking for actual customers to take the survey, or you just want the staff level feedback at this point?
Staff level feedback.
All right.
Yep. Okay. All right. All right, gotcha. All right. Well, Dee, did you have anything to add, or?
No, the only thing is there's somebody on here that logged in HHC, and I don't know if that's a name or if that's an agency.
Homework Hangout.
Okay, thank you. And Natasha, would you like anybody from the agencies that deal with Employment 101 to complete the survey, or do you want just one person from an agency to complete it?
I mean, I prefer one person, but if it doesn't, but it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Multiple people can.
Will that help get an idea of what's good and bad? That's a lot. You have 28 agencies, so I don't know.
I mean, you can just put it out there. An opportunity for people to have input and design.
Okay.
You know, and if they want, it's not, you know, basically, if you don't take the opportunity, it's just missing an opportunity to provide input. That if you're required to use it, you know, it's kind of nice to be able to have some say in what goes in it.
Okay.
Jill Flowers, what agency are you with?
Hey, and then the question was to, are you requesting that all CYEP specific complete survey, or just whoever it's sending it to? I think, do you have the most recent list of contact lists of everybody together, or do you send it out through messages through workNet?
Nicole normally sends an email by
Okay.
email from everybody or to everybody.
Okay.
And Nicole sent us an updated list last week after the webinar.
I know I have it. I just don't want to have to go through and put everybody in there. But I can do that. So, all right. Well, if anybody doesn't have any other questions, then I'll have this time to do your survey. So,
Okay.
If you want to stop recording, Natasha, we'll leave the chat open so that